Hello and welcome back to MindSpanse. My name is Craig, and I want to thank you for taking some time with me today. We're here, as always, to elevate your daily life with some very simple meditative practices that I've used my whole life, and I think that you'll find really, really helpful. And today, I want to talk about something that's really important, and it definitely is something that causes stress every day. And it's ceding control of your time to other people or things. And so, in most of my videos, I'm all about saying yes, 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 go do stuff, take the adventure, blah, blah, blah. But when it comes to managing or controlling your own time, no is okay. And boundaries, I think over time what happens is that we stop saying no, and we little by little either never had boundaries or start to give up little by little of our boundaries. And next thing you know, you've ceded your entire time to either people at work, even your bosses. There's a desire to say yes, and I'll do it and I'll be there, but it's actually really important because if you can't produce at the level that they want you to produce for a particular project because you've overcommitted to too many people or too many things, that's not going to help you in the long run. So you need to be able to communicate all that. So we're going to talk about how to address some of those issues and sort of roll it all back without pissing everybody in your life off. And it really is something that causes people a lot of stress. Even I find myself still getting sucked into it, and I think it's important to just reset, rethink about your boundaries, rethink about where you're at, and then use some of these techniques to sort of roll all that back. So let's start with a little stretch first so we can open our mind, breathe really deep. Oh man. Today is marathon day, which is right outside my window. I'm on 2nd Avenue, so you can hear the screens and people running. I'm not running. I love to run, and I love exercise, obviously, but marathon is a bit. I'm very. Those people have incredible courage and fortitude to go through that pain and suffering. And I know that they love it, and I have a lot of friends who do it. So in any event, like, relax your shoulders, relax your jaw. I said no to the marathon, okay? Boundary, not running 20 miles. So one more thing, just remember to sign up at mindspanse.com, which is my website. For the email list, it's right on the front page, and this way you'll get notified of any new videos, and definitely subscribe to this YouTube channel, which would be great. Really appreciate it. So how do we deal with this? How do we roll it back, right? You know, there are situations in your life, whether it's in a relationship or at work or some other self-imposed constraint, where you've ceded control of your time to other people, and you know it's stressful, and you know about it. You probably know about it. If not, I would just do sort of an inventory check throughout the course of a couple of days. As always, I talk about this in every video, which is, if you don't know where to start, just observe yourself for a week. Take note of your feelings, take note of your interactions, make notes, and then look at it and say, okay, where are the holes? Where is it that I'm playing a game that I shouldn't be playing? Where is it that I have certain constraints? Where is it that I have certain emotional constructs, whatever it may be? But in this case, we're looking at where we cede time, where we make decisions based on what other people want us to do and when they want us to do it, as opposed to when we want to do it. And so how do we do it? So first, observe. It's very important. Take the time to observe. You spent your whole life getting to this point. You can certainly take a little time and watch yourself before you start to make any moves. Is The Search for Bobby Fischer, a great chess movie, really fun movie, and they say don't move until you see it, meaning don't move the pieces until you've seen the whole board and understand the moves you're making. Because you don't want to piss anybody off. I mean, that's not the point of this. The point is not to it's just, if you give people the latitude to take control of your life, there's a natural inclination to do it. So again, it's I wouldn't blame anybody for sure. There's no blame, right? It is what it is. In all of this, it is what it is. We take action to move forward, and the world will adjust to our action. We want to make sure we do it in a way where we don't blow everything up, right? In some cases, there's some places you might want to just blow it all up, and for good reason. If it's an abusive situation or something like that. And even then, you can start to roll things back and see what happens. And sometimes people will change, or they'll walk away, and you sort of makes it sort of simple. So you've done your observations, and you said, okay, someone told me this. It was a very good starting point for me. I'm walking down the hall in my office, which no one does anymore, but I'm starting to again. And people sort of come out of their office or out of their corner and say, hey, Craig, can I get this? Can I do this? Can I do this? And your first reaction is to respond. And what you don't realize is you've now created a construct where that's okay to do, number one, and that you're not giving these people the best answer, because you're not taking the time to think about what you've just been asked, right? And usually people do it on purpose because they want to get approval to go on a trip or to go see a client or whatever it is, or whatever it may be. It's like the attack. It's the attack in the hallway method. And so if you just stop responding to that, that's a good one. Right? So you're walking down the hallway, someone comes, asks you a quick question. Hey, Craig, blah, blah. Say, let me think about that, or can you craft me an email with the question, and I'll think about it, and I'll come back to you. So now you've taken control of the time and the answer, and making sure that you've thought through the precedents you're setting with the answers that you give, and you're also creating boundaries as to, you don't have to say, hey, you're not allowed to talk to me in the hallway, but over time, people will stop doing it because they realize they're not going to get what they want. So that's a really cool thing to do. The phone, the email, you don't have to answer the phone all the time. You don't have to respond to an email right away. It's better to take the time and think about how you want to respond, what you want to say, what you want to do, than just get a quick message back. Because one, you may make a mistake, and two, you pick up the phone and you're not prepared for that encounter necessarily. I mean, of course, if you're expecting someone to call, answer the phone, or if it's your mom, always answer the phone, definitely. But otherwise, be responsive. I'm not saying don't be responsive, but do it in your time, right? Take your time back, control your time. If you don't want to answer calls after 9 o'clock at night, don't answer calls after 9 o'clock at night, or 8 o'clock at night, or 7 o'clock at night, or before 7 in the morning, or whatever it is, except when you've determined that you want to arrange a call that works for everyone because you're doing something either in China or whatever, like unfortunately I have to do, Australia or China or whatever, and so time is difficult, but we work to meet each other's schedules. So sometimes I do it in the morning and sometimes they do it in the morning, as opposed to at midnight or whatever. So those are two really, really good things. So emails and phone, take control. In the hallway, take control. In terms of relationships, it's a little more nuanced. And those are all things that if you do them slowly, people will just start to, it's not like you cut it off in one day. You sort of little by little. You have a plan that, you've been doing this for a long time. So you can certainly take a little bit of time to implement this new plan without causing any great distress in the organization or with people or anything. And they won't even notice that all of a sudden you've now constructed this new model for how, when, and where you communicate. And in personal relationships, it's a little more nuanced, a little more sensitive, because people respond a little differently. There's a little bit more attachment potentially in the way they respond, or emotional responses. So I think the best way to approach it, again, is to watch what's going on, watch how a relationship has evolved over time, and think about how you might roll it back to a place where you're feeling more comfortable, that you feel happier. Because that's what we're doing. We're trying to make every day a little better, right? And so maybe it's just saying, I'd really like to do this today. Start to re-engage with the things that you really want to do, and try to engage your friends, your partner, in things that you really love to do, as opposed to always saying, I know so many people just like say yes to this and that and go do things, and then they're just running in the head, and and where is their time? They complain about it. I mean, if they didn't complain about it, who cares? That's great, have fun. If that's what you love, then do that. But if it's something that bothers you, then you need to address it. You need to start to evolve how you make those decisions in a way that doesn't, piss off all your friends. I mean, it's not like they have a right to be pissed off, but it's a change. So when you change the dynamic of a relationship, things happen. And you can't possibly know what's exactly going to happen. But if you make changes slowly and start to sort of draw the line a little bit more and more, push the things you really love to do, and try to incorporate the things you love to do with your friends and your partners, and try to find more common ground of things that you all love to do, and then proactively plan those kinds of events, because those are the things that will, they're all things that everyone really likes, and everyone's going to feel a little bit happier, and it's going to elevate everyone's mood, and at the same time you're decreasing the things you don't like to do. So you're filling your time with things that you really enjoy, and still being with the people that you care about and love, and of course we all make concessions. The key is, where the line, because the line tends to get blurry over time, and it's a subconscious thing. I don't think, yes, there are sociopathic people out there for sure, and stay away from them. And they're the people that when you start to draw lines get angry and like, what are you doing, and and then run away from those people. Just be like, that's not worth your energy, for sure. People who care about you and will not do that. They'll just readjust a little bit here and there, and little by little the whole thing gets better. So that's what I have today. I mean, it's a really important thing. Again, all my videos are about elevating your daily life through some very simple practices, and a lot of it is just observing and then making very small changes. Because you got to remember that all of this has happened over your whole life, right? So it's been bothering you, but if you start to if you say, oh, that's it, I'm done, it's like blowing up when and everyone's like, why are you blowing up? You're like, well, you never seemed mad before, and all of a sudden you blow up because you never expressed anything. So one is to slowly start expressing yourself in a way that's peaceful, And little by little, people will react. Like if you change your behavior, people will change around you. It's always this great saying that it's like a book. Like if you're reading a book, right, and there's a primary character, like like in Star Trek, like it's like the tertiary guys who always get killed, when they go to the planet. I mean, it doesn't change anything, right? Like you could kill off all the tertiary characters and nothing's going to change in your life. The only way that things change is when the protagonist has an enlightening moment and starts to change their behavior. And when they do, the whole world changes around them, because that's how it works. So I'm suggesting that you do some really deep observational work, and then little by little start to make changes that are more positive for you and your workmates and your family members. And as you do that, things will evolve in a really, really beautiful, positive way, and your life will be just a little bit better every day. And you'll smile a little more, and you'll breathe a little deeply, and you'll be less stressed. So again, please subscribe to the channel. I wish you an unbelievable, awesome, awesome day. Congratulations to all the marathoners. I'm very happy for you. And I'll speak to you very, very soon. Have a great day.